What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Mike, aka Living with 3M Auto Vlogging, and today we have got a Mercedes repair video. So I walk out the other morning and it had been raining the night before, and I noticed rainbow colors all over the ground beside the Mercedes. I'm like, what in the world's going on? You could tell that was oil. These cars are notorious for having a valve cover gasket fail. What's so bad about a valve cover leak? A valve cover gasket leak on these cars is pretty bad, and you need to address it as soon as possible. Why do I say that? Because where it is on top, right there, the valve cover on top, but the spark plugs are right in the middle. All right, so not only do you have a gasket around the outside edge, you've got four small rubber gaskets that separate that oil from going into the spark plug wells. So when that gasket fails and you have an oil leak, first place it goes is right down in the spark plugs. So you're gonna have to change the gasket. All right, put a brand new gasket set on there, which is one large one and four small ones, and it comes in a kit. Some of you are probably saying, there's no way I can do that. I don't have time, I don't have the skill, I don't have the ability, I don't have the tools. So I'm gonna let Mercedes change that, and that's totally fine. Usually it's gonna be about $1,300 to $1,600 depending on which Mercedes dealership you get to. For y'all out there that are do-it-yourselfers like me, wanna save some money, do it yourself, you are capable, I'm telling you, and that's why I'm here. I'm here to go over this, help you guys, and we're gonna change this gasket out. Before we do, I've got to mention, you're gonna need a couple tools that are kind of special. And special means I just didn't have these in the toolbox, but you're gonna need an inverted Torx socket set. All right, because the bolts that hold that valve cover down are not your standard 8mm, 10mm, stuff like that. It's gonna be a inverted Torx. So that means it's protruding, it's sticking up. So you're gonna take this right here, and we're going to do the job. So along with the inverted Torx socket set that you're going to need, you're also going to need the valve cover gasket kit. Plus, you're going to need a quality torque wrench. Right now would be the perfect time if you need to change out coil packs and spark plugs. You're already in there, so it's the perfect time for a tune-up. All right, let's get this show on the road, folks. The first thing you're gonna have to do is remove the oil filler cap. Okay, just like that. Set it out of the way right here. Then you're gonna pop this top off right here, just like that. All right, I'm gonna show you guys what I noticed. See down in there? See down in that little well right there? It's just where it's leaking. And leaking out the side is not the biggest problem. It's leaking down in here. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 spark plugs and coil packs. And they've got individual gaskets around them, just like that. And it's also a gasket around the outside. All right, so you're gonna have to unplug your electrical connectors right here from your coil packs. You've also got two sensors, one on each side. You'll have to unplug. You've got some hidden bolts right here. So just remember this. You've got the large bolts, which are an E10. Okay, E10 right there. So you are gonna have to have some sockets, extensions, maybe a reducer. Coil packs have an E8. So E10 for the outside Torx bolts and E8 for the coil pack bolts. So you're gonna have 2, 4, 6, 8 total E8 Torx bolts holding the coil packs on. All right, so with the coil packs, all we're gonna do is pinch the sides of the electrical connectors, unplug them, just like that. 1, 2, 3, and 4. You're gonna need a standard T25, I think it's the standard, yeah, T25 Torx right here to loosen this line right here. We've got to remove it because when you pull this up, it's got to be removed. Once we've removed that, you've got your wiring harness here that goes to the coil packs. There's little clips that just clip it onto the sides right here. You're gonna lift up, hear it pop on both sides. We'll remove this over to the side. You can hear this as it pops. Might need to take a small screwdriver if you can't get it, just like that. There's also another plug here, a sensor right here. We're gonna remove that by pulling the gray tab out, just like that. Careful not to drop it. Push down, remove the clip, just like that. All right, we're also gonna have to remove this. This is connected to that wiring harness. Little plug right there that's also got that gray locking pin on it. We have to pop it out, squeeze it, and remove this. All right. Next bolt comes out just like that. Now we're going to pull the coil pack out. Move along to coil pack number 2. They're not going to be super tight. I'll go ahead and loosen them all up. 3, and 4. All right. Second coil pack is out. So I'm showing you guys how to remove this with ratchets and sockets. You can use this right here to take everything off. Putting it back on, I wouldn't recommend it because you got to use a torque wrench and torque everything down to spec. But this does make everything a lot faster. But I'm just showing you guys if you don't have your drill. Third coil pack. Two bolts. Now the coil pack. So got the coil packs out. As you can see, there's oil down in the plugs. You can remove the plugs after you get up all this oil, but the reason is because you have 4 individual gaskets, 1, 2, 3, 4 on the inside, plus a big one on the outside. And what do I mean by that? You have 4 small ones around each coil pack. That's where it's leaking from, getting down in the spark plugs. All right, so just to let you guys get a visual on that, lay my coil packs out here. Gonna do it just like that. The coil bolts are E8, and we just finished up with them. So now I'm gonna switch over to the E10, just like this, and put that on here. we're gonna go around to all of these. I'll count them all for you when I get them broke loose and tell you exactly how many they are. So you can go around it with me and you can see visually how they are, where they're at. All right. Back here. Back here, way back here. So you're gonna have 12 of the E10 large Torx, reverse Torx bolts. You're gonna have 8 of the E8 coil pack bolts. While we're going around here, we're gonna have to take the dipstick loose. That's a T25 Torx. We're also gonna remove this. I used a T25 Torx bit, the same as I used on the dipstick, and you've got to pull this out. It's gonna disconnect. Just leave it hanging here. I'm gonna tell you guys, I've got everything loose that needs to come loose. I've watched a couple videos where these guys are just like, and it comes off. It does not come off. I kept thinking there was another bolt, but I knew there were only 12. So carefully, you don't want to scar up any of the aluminum or bust any of the plastic. Carefully. Did you hear it? Hear it pop? So that gasket can be a mess. It can heat up and be stuck on there. So you want to carefully take a pry bar or some screwdrivers. Even when it first breaks loose, it's still not wanting to give up because that rubber is baked on. I watched a guy do it and he cuts to the part where he just lifts it up. I'm like, man, you gotta tell these people the truth. You can't just tell them it's that easy. I mean, why make a how-to video if you're not gonna be truthful about it? There we go, carefully. And you're just gonna push that wiring harness off to the edge. Just like that. There we go. Now we're gonna remove this, get it cleaned up, new gasket installed. All right, ladies and gentlemen, ran into a small snag. As you can see, this red plastic piece, it is a timing chain guide. When I stuck the screwdriver under here and lifted up, it busted it. But I got a replacement part. Right here is the old part. Right here is the new part. So I was told by Mercedes that these commonly break when you're taking that off. All right, so we're gonna take this and it goes in these holes right there, just like this. And it'll clip down in there, just like that. All right, got me? The other one was not broken, so we're good there. But if they are worn or cracked or brittle, don't think I'll just not replace this, because that is a guide and it's there for a reason. All right, I pulled those old ones out in the middle right there. These only go one way, so you can't really mess this up. Just want to be sure they're down in there, so I just set them up here first to show you guys. I'll just knock this one off. All right, it's got these little grooves you see right here, and that helps hold it down in there. This is what's going to keep that oil from filling up the spark plug wells. And again, it will only go one way, so I matched this side up first, and I'm just going to work my way around here, pushing it down in the holes in the track. See there? So you ought to be able to get this no problems. See how I've done that so far? And it will hold itself. I'll take needle nose just like this, go down in there just like that. It's not too bad, but it really helps if see there, kind of cleaning some of this area up. You can use Q-tips and use the needle nose also. This will help. See, check it out. You don't have to worry about the tops where the oil goes, just around where the spark plugs seat down in there. See that? All right, so got the valve cover back on, got the E10 bolts in it. So when you go to put these back on, you want to just get them snug with this. You don't want to torque them down, but it's kind of like with putting on a tire. You don't go around like this and tighten them down. You want to go from here, 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 here. You want to cross section tighten. So, and when you get it snug down, you're going to come back with a torque wrench and you're going to put the E10 torques to about 7 foot-pounds. All right, got me? 7 foot-pounds. And then you're going to take the E8 on the coil packs and you're going to do it to 6 pounds. So you're going to need a torque wrench to get these torqued down to proper specs. You don't want to over torque these. You will pop this. It's just composite material, which is basically plastic. You will bust it. Okay, so I'm going to go over right now exactly finishing up what you should have connected and bolted down. All right, you should have your E10 bolts. There's 12 of them, all torqued down to spec. You should have your 8 E8 coil pack bolts torqued down to spec. Okay, you should have your electrical connector here plugged back in. You should have your electrical connector here on the side plugged back in. Okay, all 4 coil packs plugged back in, electrical connectors right there. Okay, that's all of the electrical. Okay, this tube right here was the long bolt. That's a T25 Torx bolt. All right, this is the coolant tube right here. And you took off the bolt underneath it. Is also a T25. All right. And finally, the dipstick tube is a T25. So that's 3 screws right here. 1, 2, 3 of the T25 Torx head that screws this tube back in. So make sure that's connected back or you're going to have a coolant leak. I've got a video on if you have a coolant leak, so check out this video right here. All right, that's gonna do it for the video, everybody. I appreciate y'all checking it out, sticking around with me, watching it. Hopefully it helped you out. I'm letting the car warm up a little bit, sit here at idle, but everything is perfect. Saved a lot of money versus paying a dealership to do it. Just saying, guys, I know you can do this. So be sure to head on over to my channel page, check out all of my other videos, and I will catch y'all in the next one. Later now.